but I sent her the video.
You what?
But I sent her the video.
You what?
But because everyone remembers the
Shut up!
incident and knows I was one of the people being yelled at, but you just need to find someone to look past everything and see what a great person you are inside.
Yeah, double homicide.
Bitch!
No, I'm sorry.
GPT! I'm gonna pass your resume to McDonald's!
Oh my God.
I told you the only area allowed on
It
this
is plagiarism, it is lazy, and it will not be tolerated in my class. You think I can't tell? I can every time. Do the work.
Welcome to ImCookedCoffessions. I'm Bread, and I've searched the internet looking for the most interesting story times, so you don't have to. So sit back and relax if you're at work, in the gym, or getting some chores done around the house. Today I got 4 stories for you. The first story is about a student who reports their teacher because he didn't like their tone. The second story is about Jane, the girl's girl. Third story reminds me of the old saying, who needs enemies with friends like this? The fourth story is someone's realization about ChatGPT and the future. Make sure you like, comment, and hit the notification bell to spread the video through the algorithm. If you find this video interesting, please leave a bread emoji in the chat. Also, if you like my reading style, have a confession, or want me to share a story time of yours, please send the information to my email at maydaymedia@gmail.com. Again, thank you for tuning in to ImCookedCoffessions. Now let's get into these stories.
We are cooked.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we are absolutely cooked.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
I'm a master's student, and this happened in a module that isn't really a core part of my degree. It was more of a supplementary course. The professor teaching it is a semi-well-known professional in his field. At the end of one class, the lecture had officially finished and people were already packing up, chatting, and getting ready to leave. A classmate with a very soft voice asked the professor a question, but because of the noise in the room, the professor couldn't hear him. Instead of asking for quiet or repeating the question, he suddenly shouted,
Shut up!
very loudly. It was clearly directed at a few specific people who were talking, including me. The entire room immediately went silent and the mood changed. It felt less like a professor managing the classroom and more like someone losing their temper. A few days later, we received the anonymous course evaluations. In my evaluation, I wrote that I didn't think the professor was suitable for teaching because he appeared to have anger management issues and did not manage his temper appropriately in a classroom setting. Fast forward to today, another professor involved in the module, different subject matter, different instructor, read several evaluation comments aloud during class. The evaluation was supposedly anonymous, but because everyone remembers the
Shut up!
incident and knows I was one of the people being yelled at, several classmates immediately figured out the comment was probably mine. A few classmates later told me they thought my evaluation was unfair. Their argument was while the professor's reaction was rude, it was just one moment and didn't justify writing that he had anger management issues and wasn't suitable to teach.
Shut up!
Now I'm feeling self-conscious. I'm worried people will see me as difficult to work with, overly sensitive, and a snowflake who can't handle criticism. At the same time, I genuinely felt that shouting at adult graduate students in that manner was unprofessional, and the evaluation specifically asked for honest feedback. Edit. Thanks for your opinion, people. I appreciate the reflections I get from here. It is my first AITA. I personally wouldn't have cared, I just would have made my opinion. I understand expressing yourself and getting frustrated, but if we're all adults and you yelling like that, I'm gonna say what I gotta say and not feel bad. Y'all can say what y'all want to say, but I don't care. I thought it was unprofessional. If we're in a room with like-minded adults and you lose your cool, it might not always go smooth on the other end if people really start speaking up and saying what they really got to say. So, my advice to you, my brother, stand on it. Next time they feel some type of way about what you said or your opinion, stand on it. It is what it is. Next time you get frustrated, find a better way to express yourself. But doing it that way won't always get the best response. Just saying. This happened a few years back, and I think it's the cruelest thing I've ever done to someone. I used to belong to this loose group of acquaintances I met through a shared hobby. I wasn't particularly close to any of them, and we've all since drifted apart. One woman joined the group, Jane, early 30s, and you can tell that Jane was a toxic mess from 6 miles away. She had terrible taste in men, was constantly shit-talking people, disastrous financial situation, just overall a really unstable and pretty unpleasant person to be around.
Hide the money, y'all. There's poor people around.
So one night, a group of us were out for drinks and the topic of dating came up. I was venting about a guy who seemed promising, but then had ghosted me. And then James chimes in saying something like, "Oh, OP, you'll find someone eventually. A lot of guys are really superficial, but you just need to find someone to look past everything and see what a great person you are inside."
Yeah, double homicide. I'm sorry.
Everyone sort of froze and chuckled awkwardly and then moved on. It was humiliating to me because I'm pretty sensitive about my looks. In that moment, I was too stunned to say anything, but I was boiling with rage inside. The next day, I invited her out for coffee. Just the two of us. She's been mentioning wanting to move into a different apartment, but lacked the finances to do so. I told her I found a program that might interest her, and then I showed her a website I found that was run by a city's welfare department. It was an independent living community / program for adults with developmental disabilities. The page included a girl who visibly had Down syndrome. I still remember how quiet and pale Jane got. She was like, "Do you really think this applies to me?" I kept going, lying. I told her I knew a girl who reminded me of her and who had benefited from this program. "Look, they send somebody to check on you every now and then. It's government funded. You don't need to rely on your parents anymore." She started tearing up and told me to go fuck myself. I didn't know her. She's not disabled. I acted confused and embarrassed. Said, "You know what? I misunderstood. Never mind. Forget I said anything." She just kept cursing me and then stumbled out of the coffee shop crying, and I never saw her again. A few hours later, the full weight of what I'd done came crashing down, and I messaged her on Facebook explaining that I knew what I'd been doing and I wanted to get back at her for what she said about me earlier. I apologized to her and that for both of our sakes, we shouldn't communicate anymore. I know she saw the message, but she never responded. I never saw her in the group again, and I don't believe she ever told any mutuals. What haunts me isn't only her stricken look that day, but the satisfaction I felt upon seeing it. She was an asshole, but I was downright evil. Edit. To answer a couple of reoccurring comments and assumptions: 1, this is real. 2, yes, of course I feel bad for what I did, and still do. That's why I pretty much immediately apologized, and I'm posting it here now. But it still haunts me from time to time. 3, I started therapy later that year, partly because of what I done, and it continues to this day. I'm far from perfect, but I'm a lot better than who I was. 4, Jane knew exactly what she was doing. She commented on my looks previously, i.e., asking if I ever thought about plastic surgery or suggesting that previous boyfriends were embarrassed to be seen by me. She was constantly nasty towards other people in our circle, not just me, and had really sly, underhanded ways of putting people down and sabotaging them. Nowadays, if I run into someone like Jane, I tell them what they said was hurtful, then distance myself permanently. I used to be an avoidant people pleaser type, which would result in resentment building up until it exploded in really destructive ways. Therapy has helped me realize this and come up with better ways of dealing with people like Jane. Jane is what we call a girl's girl. Jane was mean-spirited. Jane did not like you. And it's okay for sometimes people don't necessarily get along in friend groups. Not all friends will get along. Everybody's not meant to be friends. Everybody's not meant to get along. Because the way I interact with people that I don't know or I loosely know isn't the way that we see Jane interacting with people that she loosely knows. The way that the writer expressed herself about getting her lick back, I understand Jane might not liked it, but Jane should have never been throwing shots first. And what I've grown to learn about women, you start shit, you better be ready to end shit. You pick on her, you better be ready for her to pick on you. So if you're calling her ugly or you taking shots at her, little slight jabs at her, she's going to eventually respond back. And that's what she did. She hit you where the sun don't shine. You didn't like it. You didn't like it one bit. Go figure. The girl that's bullying I was perceived as the less attractive friend in the group from what she's expressing about herself, but I just take that as I don't have as much confidence as the next person. But that doesn't mean that the next person looks better than me. But this is what happens when two different people clash. One's being petty, and the other one decided to be petty back. And guess what? When I decide to be petty, you don't like it. Well, in the words of Finesse 2 times,
it's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it.
I, 24, female, basically ruined 2 friendships because I couldn't handle the fact that both of my closest guy friends got into relationships. This sounds horrible already, I know. So for context, there were 3 of us in a really tight friend group for years. It was me, let's call them Ryan, 25 male, and his best friend, Alex, 25 male. We hung out constantly. Late night drives, getting food after work, random FaceTimes, clubs on weekends, etc. The problem is, I got emotionally attached to both of them in different ways. I confessed my feelings to Ryan a while back and got rejected in the nicest way possible because he had already had a girlfriend. We stayed friends after, but it definitely changed things for me emotionally. I kept acting normal, but honestly, I hated seeing him with someone else. Alex was different. I never confessed anything to him, but I also didn't want to lose him either. I can't even explain it properly. There was just something about him that made me feel safe and important. And once he got serious with his girlfriend too, I started feeling replaced by both of them at the same time. I would try to ask about all his problems or get him to say meaningful things so I can hold on to him. It got worse over time. Whenever he brought their girlfriends around, I'd instantly get irritated for no reason. I'd act supportive, but internally, I was bitter that suddenly I wasn't the main person in either of their lives anymore.
See, if I was your male best friend, what would I get for being your male best friend?
I mean, you're the homie. We friends. Same our friends get. That's it. It don't go past the friendship. It don't go.
I get nothing. Say it with your chest. Nothing. I'm supposed to help you move heavy objects. I'm supposed to come over your house with the pistol when you hear something at night. And I get nothing in return. You can't help me move that heavy. Your pistol jammed last time. I'm supposed to do everything that a do except. I get nothing in return. This is why it doesn't make sense for to be male best friend. We don't get.
A few months ago, we all went out clubbing for someone's birthday. Alex got really drunk, like stumbling around, hugging random people drunk. At one point, this girl started dancing near him, and I literally encouraged it. I was laughing, hyping him up, pushing him towards her while Ryan was somewhere in the club. And yeah, I recorded it. At the time, I thought it was funny. But honestly, if I'm being real with myself, part of me liked having something that can mess up his relationship if I ever wanted to. Nothing even happened besides the girl dancing on him. It was literally just dancing at a club. But the video angle made it look way worse than it actually was. Fast forward a couple of months, and Alice and I had a huge falling out, mostly because his girlfriend hated how close we were, and he started distancing himself from me. Ryan did too, honestly. Suddenly, I went from talking to them every day to barely hearing from either of them. Then Alex's girlfriend reached out to me because she was planning a surprise birthday party for him and wanted help inviting people. And I don't know what came over me.
There's no way I'm letting you move in on my territory. I'm telling Miss Finster. Randall. Miss Finster. Just the grown-up I wanted to see.
But I sent her the video.
You what?
But I sent her the video.
You what?
But I sent her the video. Basically saying just, thought you should see this.
Why? 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 Why?
Everything blew up after that. She confronted him immediately. Ryan got dragged into it too because he was there that night. Both of them realized I had kept this video for months. And suddenly, our entire friend group was involved. Ryan straight up told me I needed therapy because I acted like if I couldn't have people emotionally, nobody else could either. Alex blocked me on everything after sending me one long paragraph basically saying, so many times we protected you, and the one time I was blacked out and didn't remember, you do this to me?
Yeah, double homicide. No, I'm sorry.
He still doesn't know that I encouraged him to dance with that girl, but I actually crossed the line by intentionally trying to damage his relationship. The worst part is, they weren't even wrong. I think I convinced myself for a long time I was just protective over my friendships, but really, I was just jealous and angry that both of them were building lives that didn't revolve around me anymore. Now Alex is done with his relationship, all because of me sending the video. Also, deep down, I always fear Alex might ruin something for me because I told him a lot, including talking about married men and seeing them because I had known them in the past. Honestly, I probably deserve this. Ma'am, you can't use people when you want them and then get mad that you friend zoned them. I'm pretty sure at some point either one of them guys wanted you, but at that time you didn't want any of them. They didn't end the friendship, they continued being friends with you, but the fact that they moved on and found somebody, or even if they weren't interested at all, the fact that they end up being in another relationship with a female kind of highlights why it's hard for men and women sometimes to be friends. Because even if they're not physically involved, romantically involved, sometimes these people still feel an entitlement to your time. They still feel an entitlement to your presence. They still feel entitled to whatever you could provide for them as a man to a female. She had no reason to do that. But before the girl even gave her an opportunity, she had already got some evidence or already had something in the chamber. In my opinion, that girl was never y'all friend. She was enjoying the perks of having male friends, but she didn't consider her male friends in their lives and their feelings if it wasn't filtered through her lens. So if you can't do for me, the way I need you to do for me. I don't mind you doing anything else, but if I lose priority, then I will show you how much you meant to me. Because the minute they weren't able to be there for her the way she was used to, she immediately sabotaged his relationship. It's sad. But you live and you learn. Unfortunately, this is some of the things that men deal with when it comes to being with women, whether it's being friends or being in a romantic relationship. There's always going to be something. There's always going to be an issue, even if you don't create it. Best way they handle it is the way they handle it. Distance themselves from them, speak their piece, let her know how you feel. Yeah. I'm in shock. I don't know what to do. She admitted to using ChatGPT to write her entire essay for her. I asked her why, and she said she wanted to see if the teacher would notice because he claims to know who's using it and will fail anyone who did.
Which of you use ChatGPT? I'm gonna pass your resume to McDonald's.
Oh my God.
I told you the only AI allowed on this campus
Plagiarism
is
is lazy, and it will not be tolerated in my class. You think I can
No, every single one of you use that ChatGPT on the assignment. Everyone. Do you think I'm a fool? Keep this up, and you are going to spend the rest of your life working at a Walmart or worse, KPMG forever. You hear me? Forever.
And to test that, she said she used AI to draft the entire essay, submitted it, and the teacher actually praised her for her essay, saying, "See, class, now this is actual human original thinking." I had asked her why didn't she admit it right then and there, the truth. She didn't have an answer. Now I'm wondering if all the other times I got work from her in the past, was it AI too? She said no, but I don't know. This shattered my entire view of her. Now I just don't know which students are using their brains or which are using ChatGPT. It's unfair to any student who wrote essays themselves and put in hard work just to get surpassed by someone who didn't do jack but type in a prompt. I'm so disappointed and angry and feel like this is the problem that's going to get much worse and the effects are going to show eventually. When you discover your doctor, your lawyer, the police, when they all just use AI to tell them what to do, this is really happening. What the Update. I talked to the teacher about this and I let him know that one of his students admitted to using AI and getting away with it. He laughed it off and said he knows that's a lie because he uses specialized software that can detect AI use and swore it's foolproof. I asked what software he was talking about and he kept beating around the bush. I said, "James, what is the name of the software?" And you're not going to believe this. ChatGPT. He's using AI to detect AI. I said, "Are you kidding me?" Nope. Because he pays for ChatGPT Pro, he believes that his use of AI is superior. He truly believes it too. And yep, I just walked away after that. Edited to say, after reading all the comments, the overall vibe I'm getting back from people is, oh well, it is what it is. Deal with it. But I am dealing with it by myself as I'm realizing just how late I am in discovering the trend. Nobody here seems surprised by this except for me. Oh well. Well, my friend, you amongst a lot of other people who have integrity and actually care about knowing the things you want to know and learning them for real. It's a new age, man. I'm one of those people myself. I like to read. I like to do my own work. So if I'm in class or I'm in school, I don't use AI. But I come from that generation that just didn't use AI at all. The new generation is different. They value it different. They value their time, and sometimes AI, depending on what you're using it for, can help and save you time. In my opinion, in the educational setting, using AI to assist with an assignment may help as far as researching and shortening the amount of time it'll take for you to evaluate a particular subject that you want to learn about. But to do it as far as a test, that's when it becomes a problem. Because over time, I feel we're going to have a generation of people that don't know what they claim to know. They're going to be in fields where they don't necessarily have the experience that we would like for them to have and that we would expect them to have. Nothing worse or nothing would be more disheartening that when you go to the doctor to get treated and you see that the doctor is using AI to help them do whatever it is that they need done with you. So if you got a broken arm and they having questions, there's not a superior, there's not somebody there to help them figure it out. They're literally going on the internet searching up things. I think that'll quickly diminish the amount of trust people have in our health system and across various other industries as well. We have a certain level of trust and a certain level of expectation out of people because we know that they know what they're doing. Even if I never met you, today's norm is if you go in the hospital, everybody there is expected to know what to do. But when you start going to these places that's trusted or supposed to be trusted to have a certain level of skill and they're using AI to help them figure out how to do their job, maybe we'll reconsider how much we let AI assist us with some of these things. I get fleshing out ideas. I get brainstorming, helping you craft out things. But as far as being a replacement for you thinking, that's when we introduce new problems. But AI itself, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a helpful tool, but it's only that, a tool. What do you guys think about the stories? The first one, I understand. I wouldn't like being yelled at either, especially at this old age. And if I decide to go back to school, if you lose your cool and just yell out like that, I'm going to take it personal. I'm not thinking, oh, you're an adult, I'm a child, let me stay in the child's place. No, we all grown in here. You got to be able to keep your cool. You got to have a better way of communicating, even through frustrations. Because us as adults, we maintain order. If we all just lashed out or screamed at each other when we got frustrated, it'll be a lot more violence. So, yeah. Second story, Jane, the girl's girl. Sometimes women can be mean to each other. People don't necessarily mix well. Sometimes people can be oil and water. And yes, that can happen in the same friend group. It can be 4 girls that are friends. The 5th one come in, and for some reason, they don't all mesh. And I realize sometimes with girls, either all of us get along or we're going to start clicking up. Even if we still stay in the same group of friends, there's going to be an understanding of who's closer to who has an issue, and it's really serious or it's not or whatever. But I can't say this. I feel the situation between Jane and the girl could have been worked out, but it seems that the mindsets of these women what was causing the issue. The way Jane viewed her, it seems like Jane felt like she was better than her, or she was just a better quality woman. And the other girl just didn't respect the way that Jane looked down or took jabs at her. So I get it. They could have been the best of friends because sometimes polar opposites do work well together. But in this situation, she just was harboring her feelings and she didn't like but when she lashed out and got her get back, it was funny. Third story. This is what happens when a girl gets friend zoned instead of the guy getting friend zoned. She had 2 male best friends and they were there for her when they didn't have anybody, which benefited her. But as soon as they found somebody that liked them and now they don't necessarily have the time for their female friend anymore, she wants to go and sabotage things. You got friend zone, ma'am. They weren't interested. Even if they were, you probably weren't available at that time. But I'm not assuming that there was attraction from the guys to you. But you did say that you had feelings for both of them. So, You win some, you lose some. And I understand dating can be very tricky. But usually it's the girl that friend zones the guys, and they have to watch her go through all these relationships. They flipped it in this situation. They flipped it on its head. Now it's the girl wanting a friendship or more of a relationship with both guys. But after what she did, there's no coming back. There's no coming back. And the last one, using Chat GPT, was a realization for me as well. I don't look at it as necessarily a negative thing. It's just something to take very cautiously. It can easily be used in every industry to make life easier across the board. But what people just need to take is what people should take into consideration is that even though it may be a useful tool, it may become a crutch that will eventually break and cause a big issue universally. If the people that we're trusting in power, we're trusting with authority, that we're trusting with our health, trusting with our safety, all those important things, if those jobs become too dependent on AI, when we need human compassion and people really having the knowledge, really having the understanding, and not just thinking that everything is a quick search away to fix, then we're going to have a problem. But again, it's always interesting to find these story times. And I just want to thank you for spending your time with me. All I ask is to give me a subscribe to help me reach my goal of 1,500 subscribers by the end of the year. Thank you for tuning in to ImCooked Confessions. I'm Bread. Y'all have a nice one. And until next time, peace.
We are cooked.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we are absolutely cooked.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
Bruh.